program will now begin.
We have a choice coming. We're going to make a big choice in 2016. And along those lines, in the House, we're going to try and help crystallize that choice. One more thing I worked on quite a bit when I was chair of Ways and Means and throughout my career. We have to push back with clarity, with firmness, against any attempt by any other country to boycott, divest from, or to ever sanction Israel. This is where America can lead. This is where America can make a difference. This is where your voice is and must be heard. This is what they're trying to do to us. We can and must be clear on this.
He may be the worst thing to ever happen to Israel, believe me. Believe me. And you know it better than anybody. The United States must oppose this resolution and use the power of our veto, which I will use as president 100%. That's what a deal is. A deal is really something that when we impose it on Israel and Palestine, we bring together a group of people that come up with. In Palestinian society, the heroes are those who murder Jews. We can't let this continue. We can't let this happen any longer. Glorifying terrorists is a tremendous barrier to peace. It is a horrible, horrible way to think. It's a barrier that can't be broken. That will end, and it'll end soon, believe me. And if we want to achieve peace, they've got to go out and they've got to start this educational process. They have to end education of hatred. They have to end it, and now. See, what President Obama gets wrong about deal-making is that he constantly applies pressure to our friends and rewards our enemies. And you see that happening all the time. That pattern practiced by the president and his administration, including former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who is a total disaster, by the way.
Samuel Klibanoff.
And where are you from?
Livingston, New Jersey.
Okay.
Everybody said what they were supposed to say. They knew the crowd and they said exactly what they should have said.
Now,
Trump spoke incredibly well. He was very entertaining, extremely funny, very truthful. You can tell when he speaks, although he's very arrogant, that he means what he says. And he's a man of his word. He's not being paid off by anyone. You can actually tell that. He says it, and it's true.
now,
However, on that note, he would make a horrible president because he will never be able to listen to any other matters besides what's on his mind. And I think it would be very difficult to work with Democrats and Republicans together to bring them to resolutions that will actually pass bills and bring the country moving forward.
I thought Kasich made a very good speech favorable to Israel. I thought Donald Trump had a lot of platitudes, a lot of boistering, but no solutions. And I thought that Ted Cruz made a wonderful speech and gave some solutions and some things that he would do. And I think he would be a very good supporter of Israel and a very good president of the United States. Came to our synagogue 2 years ago. Before he even announced, I said to my 1.5-year-old son, after he made a speech comparing what was happening in Persia at that time to what was happening in Iran today, I said to my grandson, who was 1.5 years, I said, Henry, I want to take a picture with you and the future president of the United States. And we took a picture. And when he came to Beverly Hills recently for a fundraiser, he signed the picture. He said to Barry and Henry, God bless Ted Cruz. I framed it. I think he'd be a great president. I thought his speech was terrific.
The 25 minutes that he spoke were probably the 25 most presidential minutes that I've ever seen Donald Trump in terms of what he said and his deportment.
He's a great friend of Israel. He's articulating his foreign policy. He's an accomplished governor. I was glad to see that he seemed to reverse his earlier position on accepting the Iran deal. He had earlier said in some of the debates that the Iran deal is negotiated. We have to kind of make peace with it. And tonight he said that because of the violations, the Iranian violations, he would reject the deal, and that was important.
But do you think that is maybe pandering to this type of crowd?
You know, I'm not here to question people's motives. You know, they say what they say, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he said it only because of pandering. The Iran deal has been a catastrophe. It's emboldened Iran. They have violated the terms of the deal numerous times, including with missile tests that are aimed at Israel. So I think he gets it.
Okay, Ted Cruz.
I'm a great admirer of Ted Cruz. We're friends. He has proven his friendship and loyalty to Israel on numerous occasions. He's a patriotic American. He's obviously very bright, very articulate. I thought he gave a very, very strong speech, and I thought his critique of Iran and the Iran deal, and his critique in general of a weaker American foreign policy was right on.
Donald Trump, what do you think?
Donald Trump gave a very strong speech. I thought it might have been the finest foreign policy speech he has given in this election so far. He outlined specific policies. He said he would veto any UN Security Council resolution to impose a deal on Israel. He said he would repudiate the Iran deal and impose sanctions on Iran for the violations of the agreement. He spoke about his opposition to BDS. He spoke powerfully. He spoke with a lot of charisma. And I think that the crowd absorbed his speech very warmly.
Okay, now when Ted Cruz came out and mentioned the Palestinian thing, you know, that little secret to Donald Trump, because you mentioned that Donald Trump was on target tonight, he was good in foreign policy, but as soon as Ted Cruz came out, he right away smacked him with that line. Do you think it was a blunder on Trump's part, like he just did not know foreign policy with the Palestine, that he used Palestine that has been around. It's not a state since 1948. So, like, do you feel that Donald Trump was at a blunder, or he just does not know foreign policy?
I think he demonstrated tonight that he has clued up tremendously on foreign policy. As I said, I think he gave a strong policy address. If you're asking whether or not I agree with the use of the term, no, because as you say, there is no Palestinian state. And the Palestinian state, as it would currently be constituted, would pose a danger, an existential danger to Israel, because it would become a Hamas state. Overnight, all the polls show that Hamas would win any election, and that's the reason why Mahmoud Abbas doesn't even travel to Gaza, because he's in danger in Gaza under a Hamas government. And that's the reason why Abbas doesn't go to elections in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank, even though he's 6 years past the due date for elections, because he would lose those elections. But Trump did not say that he would support a Palestinian state. He used the term. What it means, I don't know.
Okay, now if it's Trump versus Hillary or Cruz versus Hillary, who do you think will win?
You know what? No one knows anything anymore, let's be honest. No one has any political crystal ball. We discovered that all the experts have gotten it wrong. So since this is a Jewish news site, I'd rather answer your question by employing
Fifth Amendment?
The highest form of knowledge is to admit that you don't know.